Welcome back to Ghost Powered Entertainment. I'm your host, Kenny Becker, and today we talk about the 1999 film Deep Blue Sea.
In the most advanced research facility in the world. Wow.
Beneath its glassy surface, a world of gliding monsters.
A team of specialists is working against the clock on an experiment to benefit mankind.
All right, guys, so today we kick off Shark Week 2021 on this channel. And I put it out there for you guys to decide what movie you'd like to see me review this week. And by a pretty decent margin, you guys picked Deep Blue Sea from 1999. So that's what we're gonna do. And before we get into this, if you could do me a favor and hit that like button, because that really does help this channel out so much. And with that, let's get to this review. So like I said, Deep Blue Sea came out in 1999, and I remember very clearly I went and saw this in theaters, and then I also saw it at the drive-ins that summer when it first came out. And I watched it again just the other day to just kind of refresh in my memory, and I still had a blast with it. But it's funny how over the years, your memory can kind of change of things. I still really enjoyed it, but for different reasons and in a very different way than I think I did back then. So this movie stars Samuel L. Jackson, Thomas Jane, as well as LL Cool J and others. That is one of the main things I remember really loving about it back then and having a blast with still to this day, especially the performances from LL Cool J and Samuel L. Jackson. I thought they were both just awesome in this. I remember really liking Thomas Jane back then, and watching this performance now and just thinking how campy and kind of over the top, like he overacted, so to speak. I just remember back then taking him more serious, and now watching him and just being like, what a goof. I mean, like, he's so over dramatic, but you know, whatever, it was still a great time. So that's just kind of the way I feel in general about this movie. When it first came out, I remember seeing it as much more of a serious action movie because the science and the animal science and all that stuff just kind of made more sense at the time. I didn't know as much. I was a kid. I was pretty young. And we also didn't have Google then. We just, as a society, I think we're less learned. I think that's the way you'd say it. I don't know. But anyway, I think you get my point. My point is just that now we are a more educated society, in my opinion. And I know me personally, I'm much more educated. So when I watch this movie, there's so many things that I know for a fact are just BS, you know, just complete shit. And I just laugh at it now.
Tell me I didn't see that. They recognize that gun.
It's impossible. Sharks do not swim backwards. They can't.
Because what I enjoy about this movie now, it isn't the science, the high-tech underwater based stuff that gets me now. It's just the campiness, the hokiness, the goofiness, the way the CGI is absolutely ridiculous in a lot of parts and just so obviously fake. And it's just fun because it has that cheesy, fun popcorn type of thing going on that I love and enjoy about movies. So that's the biggest thing about this movie. I think in order for me to enjoy this movie now, I have to kind of turn my brain off a little and just relax and lean into it and just have fun. Get some popcorn, like I always say, kick back on the couch, you know, one of those kind of situations, because I kept finding myself having to stop myself because I would see something and go, what? That isn't possible. And I kept having to tell myself, well, of course not. The whole premise of this movie is ridiculous. Like every single thing about this movie is silly and campy and over the top. And that's what's fun about it. But it's just funny how back then I was younger and knew a lot less about things in general and was just duped and believed in the whole magic of it all, I guess, and believed in this pseudoscience that this movie had made up that's just so ridiculous but hilarious to look back on now. So as campy and as over the top as this movie is, I still feel like Samuel L. Jackson's performance is actually really solid. Like, he is the only one really who's not just so over the top. Like, there's some stuff he does, a few lines where you're like, come on, dude. But for the most part, I think he does a pretty good job in this. Whereas the rest of the cast is very overdramatic. Like, everything seems to be very extreme. And he just seems to be almost out of place in a strange way because he's way too good of an actor, basically. And I think that's just more obvious and much more apparent now watching it than it definitely was back then. At least that's how I see it. I'm curious what you guys think. I always love hearing your guys' opinion on stuff like that. Like, so talk back at me. It's always fun to get a conversation going on different tidbits about these movies. I also really enjoyed LL Cool J's performance, and I think I even enjoyed his performance more now than I did back then. I mean, I enjoyed him back then, of course. I mean, I loved him in H2O. Like, I've always been a fan of his acting, but I feel like I enjoyed and appreciated him much more now, like his humor and the way he talks and just his overall cool demeanor. I love the whole conversations he has with his parrot and just the conversations he has with the camera where he's talking about the perfect omelet, like just that stuff. I love how he's this unassuming hero, so to speak. You know, he's not a badass, he's a chef or a cook, whatever, and then he has to kind of rise to the survival, you know, the occasion. I just always loved that character model, and I think he just did a great job of playing that role. I just feel like he was very entertaining in this. So for the most part, I'm able to take off my serious hat, you know, turn my brain off and just have fun with this. But there were a few things that did bug me, mostly the doctor, Susan McAllister, I think is her name. Anyway, she was very annoying in a lot of ways. I feel like she really annoyed me because she didn't play this campy, silly role like LL Cool J, nor did she even play a serious role. She was somewhere in this weird limbo, and it didn't feel like she ever really knew what she was supposed to be and how she was supposed to play it, because it's like Thomas Jane is ridiculous because he's just so animated and dramatic, but she's neither here nor there. She's wooden and just kind of doesn't have any emotion, but yet it's not funny and it's not really a fun character at all, I guess is what I'm trying to say in a long-winded way. But yeah, I think her character probably annoyed the hell out of me the most, and I was definitely rooting for her to get chomped. But all in all, this is just a fun, silly, entertaining, campy shark movie. And it's one of the better ones, and it's also the grandfather of, or the, you know, father or whatever of those in a lot of ways. Because it isn't serious and a legit film like Jaws, but it's more this campy, silly thing that I think predated stuff like all these crazy things we have now, which I'll be talking about on Friday. So definitely tune in here on Friday to check out my video where I'm going to be talking about the best of the campy, really shit shark movies that are available right now for free on Tubi. But yeah, I'll be posting that video on Friday. But I think it's one of those things that if you didn't have this, you wouldn't have a lot of these fun shark movies now. I think this definitely helped to pave the way for that. The other thing that really struck me was how much the movie Meg is just kind of a ripoff of this movie, a lesser fun version of it. I just feel like this movie will end up aging much better than Meg will. I think Meg is one of those movies that give it a few years and the CGI and all that stuff is gonna really date badly, and then you won't be left with much. Whereas this movie, even with the bad CGI, even with this and that and the campy whatever, there's still a lot of fun here. It's still a fun, explosions, action, exciting, just really dramatic, silly, entertaining kind of flick that I think is timeless in a lot of ways. So if you've never seen Deep Blue Sea, or honestly, even if you have, it's fucking Shark Week. This is a great movie to kick off your Shark Week with. So I recommend you go out there and you watch Deep Blue Sea. It's not streaming anywhere for free, but it doesn't matter. There's places you can find it. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. There's places you can find it, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. But I think it's a good little stop for your summer. Shark Week it's a good one to check out. And that is gonna do it for me today, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this at least 2 times every week, and I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons, because you guys, your support means so much to me. And if you would like to find out more about becoming a patron, the link is down in the description. And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember, guys, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.